Welcome, everybody, to another attributed session by Dream Data. Today, we have yet another brilliant, let's call you a marketer today, Richard, joining. You're the reason why I've been listening to Pearl Jam all the day. As I saw that in your LinkedIn bio and thought, yeah, that's actually a good band. So I've been catching on Pearl Jam and your background as well. So thank you for that. The reason why we're talking today is one, when you joined us 6 months ago, it was our biggest show ever. So I'm hoping that we could do something similar like that today. You are probably one of those people that knows the most about how LinkedIn works when you want to run a business on it, and particularly the organic part of it. So that's what we're going to drill into today. Those of you who are joining us live, do feel free to ask questions to Richard so you can supplement me. I've written down, what is it I have here? Like 14, 15 questions. And I'll ask Richard those as we go along. But feel free to just pop in your questions as we go along. Richard, for those who are not amongst the 200,000 people who are following you on LinkedIn, who are you and like what's your background and interest in this topic?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me again, Stefan. I do remember the session that I had with Laura, which was spectacular. It was such a great show, and I was very thrilled to hear that you had a lot of visitors, which is a good thing because, you know, if you have a dream team and one stays and the other one is new, if we don't manage this expectation, it's probably your fault, not mine. So I'm like off the table. For those who don't know, I'm just kidding. For those who don't know me, my name is Richard Blom. I'm Dutch. I'm living in Spain for 6 years now. I have a sales background combined with marketing. And I started my own company back in 2009. That's where I started my entrepreneurial journey. One of the founders of Just Connecting, and with Just Connecting, we have a global operating training and consultancy agency 100% dedicated to the usage and leveraging LinkedIn as a platform for mainly sales marketing, but we also have clients when it comes to HR recruitment or employee advocacy.
Super nice, Richard. Maybe the first question could just be kind of, what is the state of your company then today, right now? Because I imagine that's probably a good proxy for how LinkedIn is doing as well.
I don't know if that's a good proxy. We are currently with 14 people, 8 different nationalities, because we also provide trainings in 7 native languages. So we have Spanish, German, French, English, Italian. Very soon we have Arabic, Dutch, but nobody speaks Dutch, so that's very easy. And well, it has been a very interesting ride because we started, as I told you, back in 2009. We were actually one of the first companies fully dedicated to LinkedIn. Back in the days, people were just signing up. Companies were like starting to notice LinkedIn, but there were very few companies that back then, 2010, already had a strategy. Like it was more like the individuals were using or signing up on LinkedIn, but the company that didn't have a marketing or sales strategy. So we grew bigger when it came to 2014, 2015. We also did some other social media platforms. So we did Facebook, we did X, we did Instagram and everything. And then we had some difficult years because there was like a lot of people delivering LinkedIn training or social media training. And we had some difficulties in positioning ourselves. So what we did, 2015 was the year that I decided to focus 100% on LinkedIn. So instead of being a generalist and now being a specialist, so some people left the company because they were more people that love to be in the Facebook, Instagram, those kind of platforms. And that really took off back in 2016 when actually companies started to find us and identify us as the specialists when it comes to, well, all related LinkedIn questions. So, and we have been doing ever since. So, yeah.
It sounds like there's demand from all over the world now. And you probably chose a pretty good platform to build a business around.
Well, it's funny because obviously you look at the potential, but primarily I did looked at LinkedIn as what is the only platform I really like to spend time on myself. I mean, I still have Facebook because that's the way how I keep in contact with some relatives who are still in Holland or some like friends.
Yeah.
I have Instagram, but I don't use it. I had X. I was a heavy user. I don't use it. So people always think that I'm a huge social media fan, which I'm not. I prefer to go out with friends, have a drink in a restaurant without taking a picture. But LinkedIn is the only platform I really like to spend time on because it's my business network. I can keep track of people that I met during the past years. I can see what's going on in my industry. And until a few months ago, it was also the platform that gave me a lot of organic reach. I mean, it was spectacular. I had over 25 million views when it came from September 2022 to September 23. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, and then that's probably a good cliffhanger to say something about. You said until recently you had a lot of reach. What is the state of the feed and the reach of posts at the moment?
Well, I think like probably you've heard this and probably seen it. I actually posted this morning about it because I thought it was like relevant for also this show. We started to notice that organic reach became less and less starting last year, November already. Okay. And I have some contacts at LinkedIn. We do our own research, as you probably know, and we found out like, okay, LinkedIn needs to take away a bit of organic reach because there were new features. Like we had collaborative articles, AI made an introduction to the platform. Now they have started with a video feed, a TikTok video feed, and that reach, that literally that place in your feed needs to come from somewhere, no? So we were all giving a bit of reach to make room. That was at least what we thought. And then since March this year, we saw a huge drop again. And now I saw like a lot of people were wondering like, where does this drop come from? No, and I fully understand. It's not about reach. Okay, it's you mentioned earlier that we had 1,000 viewers last year in February.
Yeah.
I personally I couldn't care if we only have 200 now, as long as the 200 are our target audience, your target audience, my target audience, and they really take value from it because. And that's the same for reach on LinkedIn. Okay, so yes, we are all losing reach. There are a few possible reasons because LinkedIn is not very eager to share things about the algorithm. A few possible reasons. At the same time, we all need to realize that maybe instead of complaining that the reach is down, and I sometimes complain because like it's my ego, or I've just spent like 3 hours on writing a report and it doesn't fly on LinkedIn, so I get frustrated as well. But when I think about it, I think we all should be really, really, really grateful for the reach we had over the past years, which was organically. And now LinkedIn is going a bit more into the direction that Facebook did a few years ago. Instagram did it 3 years ago, taking away organic reach and becoming more like, I don't know, a platform more in line with the other social networks.
Is it because they want to monetize ads a bit more, or is it a shift in shifting types of content that work?
I think actually there are a few things going on. So when you look at companies posting on LinkedIn, yes, they have a really hard time. I mean, organic company content is almost dead. It's really true. I last week I had a session with a marketing department of a huge IT company. They have like 600,000 followers, and when they publish, their numbers normally are around 3,000-4,000 views, and they go like, how? If we have 600,000 followers, how do we average reach 4,000 viewers? So first thing I tell them, which makes them feel good, I say it's the algorithm. Okay, it gives you a hard time. It will release your content to 1.5%, which means 600,000 followers. You still will only get 9,000 possible views, no? And then second, because you produce shitty content. I mean, they didn't like that, but it was true. It was boring. It was very formal. It was very bottom of the funnel. So that's also a thing. When you look at individual profiles, a few things are really happening. So video is really boosted now. And that's something that LinkedIn has done in the past as well. As soon as they come up with a new feature, they tweak the algorithm in favor of the new feature. Okay. So they did that 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I can't remember, when they started to have a video as a possible ad campaign. Okay. They started to boost organic videos. So people and companies became aware of more videos, and then, hey, why not do a video ad? Now they have the video like TikTok feed, okay, which is on mobile.
Yeah.
And because they want to make people more acquainted, more comfortable with video, they push video. So that's what we see. And again, this reach needs to be like cannibalized from other formats. What I personally see is that, for example, carousel posts or document posts, you know, the slide decks, who have been top of all the formats over the last 3-4 years, have really tanked when it comes to visibility. So I think on individual profile, it's not necessarily the monetizing, but it's the change of preferred formats that LinkedIn wants us. Also, it's the introduction of AI, and that's, if people are listening, check out my post this morning. It's finally, I have a post that is engaging really well because it's a topic that everybody interested. It's about having less reach, and I said less reach is because more and more people turn completely to AI, to write posts, to write comments. And I'm not a devil's advocate for AI. I mean, I love AI, and it helps me to organize my head, to organize my content strategy. I use it for grammar control, you know, and sometimes I turn to AI to have a stronger hook. But whenever I publish a post on LinkedIn, you can guarantee that 95% of what is in the post I've written myself before I go to AI. Now, what's happening, time is our most precious asset. So everybody's looking for shortcuts when it comes to content creation, when it comes to outreach. Salespeople, we train a lot of salespeople. They all go for shortcuts. Okay, I
saw some the other day. I can't remember who posted it, but he posted 5 influencers who had posted pretty much the same post because they're just copying each other and they're just reposting it.
Exactly. So we're looking for templates. We're looking for content templates, okay? And some of the people don't even adapt the content templates. I've never had more people in my feed that once were an alcoholic and now have 6-figure income. And I go like, that's impossible. You have exactly the same story. 4 years ago, I was an alcoholic. Now I earn a 6-figure income. It's literally copying the template and pretend you're somebody else. But you can also see it in comments. I mean, there is a huge rise in AI tools, also LinkedIn commenting tools, because a lot of people are convinced, me included, that publishing is one thing to become successful. But if you engage on the right relevant posts from your network, clients, peers, potential clients, and you add value, it brings you a lot more exposure often than your own post. So it's great to do active commenting. Again, people know that they need to comment. People feel they don't have the time. So what they do, they go to an AI commenting tool, they list their influencers or their clients, and they just go auto comment. And
they just look like an idiot when they do these like random posts.
I made a print screen. I didn't publish it because I needed to blur all the names because I don't want to name and shame. But I did a post on Saturday, and I got a lot of comments. And then I had a lot of comments like underneath from different people all over the world, and they were built exactly the same. But I mean, so 3 words, a dot, my name, 5 words, exclamation mark, 3 words, a question. And I was like, and I had them in one screen and I saw them and they were all using exactly the same tool. And I don't know why they targeted my post, but it looks ridiculous. And I think people are really, really underestimating the intelligence of their network. Because if you can feel that somebody's using AI to comment on your post to write, other people do the same with you. So you know, it's, and
do you know if LinkedIn is doing anything to crack down on these different kinds of plugins that people use to do these crappy comments?
I don't know, because it's very difficult, because like every day, I think I have the idea that every day tens of new tools are launched. Especially when it comes to AI. I do know that they now have a certificate or like a symbol. If you have used a symbol that is completely AI generated, they put a symbol on your picture. And I know that they were working on a more or less same, it's not a symbol, but it's like a statement or a certification if you would have used 100% AI. It's not launched yet, and I doubt if that's possible, because if I write something and I change a few letters, is this now 100% AI written? Or so? But in short, to finish my story, it's because we all see this huge amount of crappy comments, huge amount of template posts, we see that people are actually less engaged.
Yeah.
Real people, humans. And if we less engage on a post, that means eventually that our reach also becomes less and less.
Yeah.
So I think AI is actually harming the platform in a worse way than we think, because people are getting numb for your comments. People are getting numb for what I see in the feed because they know it's not humanly written. And I think that could be a potential risk for LinkedIn and for any creator as well.
Very much. I'm just wondering, like yesterday at lunch, we were talking about like now universities, they have AI scanners for text. So I'm thinking that LinkedIn should be able to introduce something of this sort of posts that look like, if they're like 99% sure that this is an AI written post, maybe they don't want to give it as much reach as somebody who tailored it by hand.
It's complicated from LinkedIn point of view because AI is possibly one of the biggest revenue models in the future for LinkedIn. So how, as a platform, you're going to harm or penalize people using AI? Well, on the other side, you have all these AI features now included, especially in the premium memberships. I mean, Sales Navigator has a lot of new AI components. Recruiter has a lot of AI components. If you pay for business, you get your AI resume writer, you get your AI about section writer. We have collaborative articles. So LinkedIn is putting massively on AI.
Yeah.
And for me, it doesn't make sense then to penalize your members for using AI while everything you do is boosting AI on your platform. So I think it's very difficult and it's very sensitive what they are going to do with it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was just hoping that we could slow down a little bit on these AI generated posts and comments. And I think you've already said so many things that makes my brain run around, Richard. But I think you're right also in the sense that if something if a format is working really well organically, for us who also do paid marketing, we should start thinking about, maybe they also gonna give us easier access to reach in terms of paid medias that fits what they want to push at the moment.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about? So I know that they're pushing. Is it like a Reels format for the feed with videos? So have you studied what it is that they're doing now with videos that they were not doing a couple of months back?
Yeah. So we're still on it, and I haven't.
Just an example. Like Laura came to me the other day and said, now you need to do vertical videos because that's what LinkedIn seems to push. And I've been liking to do my sit behind the computer and just the computer screen. So, but fuck, now I need to hold my computer in my hand. So I think it is one of these details you need to pay a lot of attention to. What is it? And then listen to the likes of you and others who really study the algorithm, because if you don't, it's really an uphill battle to succeed on LinkedIn.
And it's true, Laura's right. I don't know if you know them, but I did last year, 2023. No, yeah, 2023 and the start of 2024. I had I think 10 to 12 videos recorded. I called them Couch Talk with Richard. I'm on my couch. I have my LinkedIn pillows, and I discuss a specific topic. And they were shot horizontal, like YouTube. Okay. And they worked quite well. I got like, I don't know, 20, 25,000 views on those videos. Also, they converted to new business. So that's what really is all about.
Yeah.
But they will never be featured in the TikTok feed because TikTok feed is vertical on LinkedIn. So what LinkedIn has done, it's still in beta. Okay. So not everybody has access and not everybody sees it. It's only mobile.
Yeah.
And it's a video feed where you can swipe through vertical videos that instantly play. And we can see a few things happening there. It's always about people. So it's always like me talking to my screen or me walking in a forest and giving you, it's never about a product or a demo. It's always people talking to their audience. It's vertical. Most of them are subtitled. Almost all of those that we have seen are subtitled or capped or have those funny elements in the video. Okay.
Yeah.
And most of them are below 60, max 90 seconds. It's snackable. It's quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, what happens? I've examples, for example, of Darren McKee, Alex Sheridan. Those are creators on LinkedIn who went all in. Alex Sheridan, like years already, he's really a video social selling guy. Darren Gee, also a social selling guy, but he created some vertical videos.
Yeah.
And what he saw is very interesting. So the first 3 days he had average reach. So I'm talking about, I don't know, he told me about 10,000, 15,000 views.
Yeah.
And on the fourth day, so not directly, but on the fourth day, he suddenly got crazy notifications, and his post ended up on 600,000 views. 600,000 views.
It's one post that is stable over days and suddenly takes off.
Exactly. And
yeah, Laura experienced exactly the same with a video.
But that's the same, because that's what they do. You publish the vertical videos organically.
Yeah.
If the system is triggered, okay, if the algorithm is triggered,
yeah,
then they publish it in the TikTok feed, making it available for second, third degree network who normally will not see your video if no one engaged. And if they publish it in the feed, it means that it stays there like a carousel with other videos. I had someone in our company who created a very good video, nothing special, okay? It was a good tip, but nothing special. And he had average views of 8,000, 9,000. And he was on 170,000 also after the third day it went up. Because we saw him being featured in the TikTok feed.
Yeah.
Now, I've received many questions. Richard, how do I get my video in the TikTok feed? And I don't know the answer. So if anybody knows the answer, I'll send you over. No, of course. So I tried it as well. I did 2 vertical videos. I created a new. They didn't. Well, it had the average 25,000 views, but they weren't featured. So I don't know how. I've heard 2 things. One is the algorithm. Yeah. So that means if you get like above average engagement compared to your normal engagement, then the algorithm is like tweaked, or is like gets a signal to publish it in the TikTok feed. But I've also heard that in the first stages now of this new project for LinkedIn, there is a LinkedIn editor team manually handpicking good videos and publish them in the TikTok feed. So they need to see your video and they can push a button and then it goes to the TikTok feed.
That makes sense that they're, as they're kind of experimenting with it, that they want to promote quality rather than just random videos. Now, like you had just wrote, maybe a good reminder for us to also remember what we promised in the text for the event. So I'm waiting for proven strategies. So right now we've been talking a bit about like following what are the latest trends where you can really find some loopholes on LinkedIn. If we take a step back from these dynamic changes, Richard, when you advise companies, what are kind of the proven strategies, where you can continuously do the right input and then expect a decent output?
Yeah, so I don't know if people are going to like this actually, because they are proven strategies, but it means hard work, and that's where a lot of people they go they get like the sad face and they go like because like again everybody's looking for shortcuts. So there is one key element in all successful human interactions, one key word, okay? And if you want to land a job, if you want to find new clients, even if you want to have like a new girlfriend or you're dating, there's one key word, that's trust. Without trust, nothing flies, okay? So we have what we call a 5-step social selling method, 5 steps, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you how the average LinkedIn sales process works for 95% of the sellers. So what they do, step 1, identify their target audience on LinkedIn. Okay, so whether they use Sales Navigator or Freevern, they know how to find their potential clients. Let's say I'm targeting CMOs, Chief Marketing Officers. So I know how to target them. Chief Marketing Officers in Holland, UK, Denmark, I don't care. Here they are, okay? Or in Sales Navigator, Chief Marketing Officers in staffing companies. Yeah. Okay, here I am. They skip step 2 and they go to step 3, which is outreach. So I have found my CMO. Now I'm going to send him a message, okay? And I'm going like general, like, hey, I see you're also working in the marketing industry. I have blah, 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 blah. Let's go. If the person makes the mistake to accept, then they skip step 4, they go to step 5, which is convert. So the next thing they do is, hey, Stefan, thank you for accepting my connection invite. I wonder when you have 15 minutes time, because we have a software that you need, blah, 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 blah. We all know this. I get those, like, I'm not exaggerating. I get those about 10 times a day. Pitches or invites where I know, and sometimes I take the proof in the pudding. Sometimes I accept them and I tell my colleagues, watch what happens. I'm going to accept this one and accept, and I can share within an hour. I say, look, and you get the pitch, because that's what people do. Identify, outreach, convert. Okay. Now, step 2, very important, is engage. So what I do, let's see, I find 10 CMOs in the staffing industry. So what I need to do first, I need to put my name out a few times. I need to respond to their post if they are publishing, okay, and provide insights, leave relevant comments, so they have seen a few times my name.
Yeah.
Often the question is, what do I do if my prospect, my potential, is not posting at all? Okay, next thing you should check, are they commenting? Because if they comment on post, you have found the content that they like, that they value. So now you can leave a comment on their comment, they will get notified, or in a later stage, you can refer to that post, say, hey, I saw your insightful comment on this post about the future of marketing. Yeah. I have the same, okay, so engage. I always tell my clients, you need to engage like at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
There is a bonus tip here, which can fasten the process, because normally I say, do this for 1 or 2 weeks, 2 or 3, before you do the 3rd step outreach.
Yeah.
If you want to see if somebody is ready to connect with you, the bonus tip is ask a question in your comments. So let's say I'm targeting you, Stefan. You have just published a new post about dream data, and I'm going on and I say, well, Stefan, I totally agree with the 3 trends in modern software, but where do you think AI will bring us in the next year? So I'm asking you a question. Now, if you are going to respond to my question, so you posted, I commented with a question, and the author, my prospect, is commenting on answering my question, here you have your conversion, because now I can go to your profile, I can send you an invite and say, following up on our comment exchange on your post from this morning, I thank you for your time. I would like to connect to see more of your posts. And you get a 90% acceptance rate because you refer to the comment, you refer to the person. So that's like a bonus tip to trigger your potential client in accepting faster.
I think that's, I typically think about any kind of outbound as, if people are not paying the entrance fee, which is studying who I am and then messaging me and utilizing what they have found out in the outreach, then I'm not accepting. And I think it's, I get outbounded quite a bit on phone as well. And the minute I can hear, I don't recognize the brand and they're not able to express what it is that they do, and they say nothing about me, then I know they have not paid the entrance fee. So I just hang up. Whereas the opposite is true, as you say. If they're on my radar, I can see that they're engaging, they understand what I do, then I'm also much more likely to listen to what they say once they reach out.
Yeah, and you mentioned something that is even more important, because we started with the 5 steps, okay? But the 5 steps is much more successful if you have a very strong brand. Okay, so if you, for example, your profile is still nothing more than a black and white resume, and you're going to do outreach, and a person clicks to your name, like, who's this person who just reached out to me, and your profile shows nothing, it doesn't emphasize your knowledge, it doesn't show that you understand the industry, you get much less conversion. So people need to understand, whenever they say, like, why should I optimize my profile? Why should I publish content? Because it's part of your positioning towards your target audience. It will really, really strengthen your outreach. So identify, I just spoke about the engagement, then we do an outreach. Okay, I don't like the in-mails anymore, because people are trained, unfortunately, to ignore in-mails. Okay, when they see the bold in-mail, we go, no, somebody reaching out. So I rather send out a personalized connection request. If people accept, when people accept, and I'm currently at an 80% acceptance ratio from my target audience. Yes, but I have the brand, with all due respect. I do my engagement. So my outreach is about them. It's not about me. So I get about 80% acceptance request. So next step, and that's the 4th step. That's the most important. Build credibility and trust before you try to convert. And that's where it goes wrong. You accept the connection request and people start pitching. No, because if I accept your connection request, it doesn't mean I'm open to buy. And then we need to understand, how do we build credibility and trust? Okay, and there are a few ways. Best way is to have unique insights. Okay, so we have a few documents that we can share. For example, whenever we have an update about the LinkedIn algorithm, about organic reach, and we target marketing decision makers, we have like a 3-page insightful document about how to like triple your organic reach on LinkedIn, and we offer that to the marketing people. Say, hey, thanks for accepting. I know your company is using LinkedIn. Please, to the ones responsible for your LinkedIn page, send them this document because it will show you how to triple your engagement. And we don't ask anything. We just like, or for social sellers, we have a document where we say, hey, we have a document that has 8 tips to increase the successfulness of your outreach. Do you want me to send it? Just say yes, and I will send it to you. So you need to. Also, good triggers are invite for a webinar, invite for a conference that is free. People don't need to pay, they just can attend and get the value, but you need to offer unique insights. Then when people become responsive to that and they join your webinar, they join your conference, or they say, hey, yes, please send me over that document, I'm going to share it. Then now we are starting into a conversation. Now we start to get to know the client. And then there comes a moment where you can actually ask for their time to meet you on a video call. But like I said, 95% goes for the shortcut: identify, outreach, convert. And also, because a lot of companies, and that's for me, that's really it really is staggering how many corporate clients are enabling their sales force with automation tools where they can build a flow chart, and the first 3 messages, it's not them, it's their bot writing outreach, a follow-up. And then they say, yes, but if the lead qualifies, then I take over. It's 3 times that your bot is speaking with your client. How many clients are you losing in the first? And they focus, but I got 6 meetings. Okay, you got 6 meetings. How many potential clients did you target? 500. Imagine.
There's 2 things I feel like I would like to ask you, Richard. So one goes in the direction of, does the way you post depend on whether you, for example, are in marketing, where you're maybe trying to create awareness, versus as if you were a salesperson? Should you behave different, or is it the same play that you should be doing? And I think where I personally struggle is that I post a lot and get a lot of reach, but I don't often go in for the kill. So I I don't get that kind of, hey, you should actually come and do a demo with us or try our product. But if we start with does the way you behave on LinkedIn differ depending on your role? And then afterwards we can do kind of that like, how do you do to go the last mile after having built up all the credit? But firstly, the role.
Yeah, so I often have a different insight, or maybe even sometimes a little fitty with marketeers when we talk about lead generation and LinkedIn. Okay, because a lot of marketers, they feel responsible, or they are being told by C-level, like, you need to generate leads. And I have a very strong opinion about it. It's almost impossible from a company page. It's almost impossible because people don't follow company pages anymore. People don't engage with company pages in the same way as they do with individual posts. So I think
let's just put the company page aside and then
but also but also marketeers, like they should help, and that's a very important role, because we're always talking about alignment, marketing and sales, but there is really a big role on LinkedIn for marketing, and that's to increase visibility, establish thought leadership. Marketing can feature their thought leaders, their salespeople, as industry experts on the company page by creating posts together with them, or by highlighting the best performing posts of those thought leaders. And in doing so, they are talking to a much broader audience. Okay, so it's us to many. If we talk about sales, it's a completely different focus, because they need to move the prospects further down the funnel and convert them into meetings opportunities. So the focus here is targeted, specialized interactions aimed at building one-to-one relationships. So I need to understand what type of post help my customers to spark curiosity, to take the first step. And that's always in collaboration with my profile, because often we think that our content strategy is the only strategy that will generate leads. It's not. It's your content strategy combined with the way how you build your profile. To give you an example, if your content strategy is spot on average, people will see 3 of your posts before they go to your profile to check you out. Like, okay, what is this guy doing and how can I benefit? What a lot of people do, for example, just one example on the profile, is that they put in the featured section, they highlight their most successful post, which from one point is understandable. But if you know that people see 3-4 pieces of your content, then go to your profile, it doesn't make sense to show them the same content there again, because that's what brought them to your profile in the first place. So I always advise people have converting elements in your featured section, like a free consultancy call, sign up for a newsletter, sign up for a webinar. Those kind of things help the conversion as well. And another thing, I think a lot of people underestimate the synergy that you can create between different content pieces that you share. Because, for example, I see a lot of people only sharing educational content. I have a guy, I'm not going to put out his name, but he's an expert in email marketing. Okay, he's really good. And everything he does, every post, and he publishes, I think, 4 or 5 times a week, it's about how to get more subs for your email, how to convert. But he never explains to me or his audience, what is it that he does in that process? What can you buy from him? How can he help you? So the only thing he does is educational. I also have people in my network who are very, very they have a very high expertise and they're very knowledgeable. Yeah. But the only thing they do is publish personal stories about their entrepreneurial journey. And I go like, yeah, okay, that's cool to humanize your brand, but what is it that you do? So we are currently testing with a few clients based on also the Cialdini Institute, the persuasion. Yeah. What type of content helps? And if you have, for example, an educational post where you provide tips, followed by a best practice, a case study, something that you have done for other clients, followed by a more strategical tip. So now I'm not talking about how to write 5 tips, how to write better posts. Now I'm talking about how to craft a converting content strategy. So this high level. And then I follow up that if you have these problems, then this is how we could help you to overcome these problems. So you have educational, case study, strategical, and then a converting piece of content. And this is what I can do for you. That's what I mean also with a synergy in between different content pieces instead of always doing the same repetitively.
Yeah, I can maybe supplement that by first an experience as well, like, and I can definitely acknowledge also doing too many educational things without actually. So we see sometimes when we do like very product marketing specific stuff, like posting a screenshot or posting a boring video of us using the product. That doesn't give us the most reach, but that's what makes our DMs go off by a few people that actually says, that feature, I could actually use that feature. Can you please explain it to me? So you need to kind of you need to be working on the reach, but you should not forget to actually be very specific also sometimes about what you do.
But that's spot on, because if you look, for example, at the 4 posts I just said, the educational post, the tip post will get the most likes, the most reach, because people love to get things for free. Insights for free is what we love, and we pay with engagement. Yeah. Then you have the best practice, okay, which your buyers, your potential clients find very interesting, because now they can see what have you done with other company. Then you have the strategical tip to position yourself really as an expert, and then you have the converting piece of content. Now, this converting piece of content where I tell you, if this is your problem with LinkedIn lead generation, then we can help you by consultancy, by having a 7-module program. That post doesn't fly when it comes to reach, because people who are not ready to buy, they will not like. But that post scores the best when it comes to incoming invites, incoming direct messages, incoming emails, because that's where we actually help people to convert. So one of the things we always should bear in mind is that your most successful posts when it comes to really lead generation are let me rephrase that. your most successful posts in terms of reach are not your most successful post in terms of incoming leads. It's the other way around.
I agree.
Often the posts that get less reach convert more because they're more specifically written for the audience that is ready to buy.
I completely agree. By the way, just a plug for if you haven't checked out Richard's LinkedIn bio lately, you'll see that this is put into action, all of it. There's no excuse for not doing a personalized outreach to you or not understanding what your company do or how to reach out and work with your company. So well done there. Go check out Richard's bio just to see inspiration for how specific you can actually be. I guess that's on purpose, right?
And you can you can also read about Pearl Jam, and you can read about gin tonic, and it's built also from a persuasive point of view where people you need to trigger them, you need to hurt them. So I start with a pain point, then I start to introduce myself, not in a business way, but in a personal way, so people can resonate, and then I move to the challenges my clients have and how we can help them. So it's written in the same strategy.
That makes a lot of sense. Maybe also a tip for like once you like at least something we found really helpful is that because we got our team posting quite a lot on social, it can become really good paid marketing assets as well on LinkedIn through thought leader ads. So all these social posts are kind of like a constant experiment about what works well. And if you then have a cold audience of accounts that you're trying to break through to, you can basically pick all the high engagement posts because you know, at least on a piece of math, these will do quite well when they're exposed to a new cold audience.
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Yep.
You guys are writing so many questions. I'm struggling a little bit to keep up here. So bear with me. And maybe, Richard, you can check through the comments after we're done as well. But I'll try to see what we got here. What types of besides the vertical video at the moment, Richard, is right now what's working on the feed?
So again, what's working in the feed is not necessarily bringing us the most leads. I have noticed that events at the moment are performing really well for me, for my clients. So I'm not talking only about LinkedIn live events, but I'm also talking about LinkedIn audio events. I'm having another one at 4:00. So for me, it's the day of events, but I have an audio room at 4:00 where I always invite another expert to discuss, and today we're going to, for example, to discuss go-to-market strategies.
Yeah.
But I found that audio rooms are a very, very good format to speak and show your expertise to a broader audience. It's very easy to follow because people can hit one button and they listen. Yeah. It's very easy to organize. So live events are doing pretty well on LinkedIn. And also in terms of posts, it's still the text post with one picture. So carousels are down. They're not performing badly, but not as they were used to. Yeah. And in terms of reach, polls are still very, very, very well in terms of reach. And I do think a lot of people underestimate the power a good poll can have, because you can really use it as a conversation starter with your audience.
Oh, the poll that was it 2 years ago that you could just poll anything and then it would just complete
2020. Yeah, 2020. But that's why a lot of people are still really annoyed with polls, because we only saw polls in our feed. Yeah. It was madness. So whenever I tell people you should write more polls, they go like, nah, that's not. But it's not, because if you have an on-topic question and you have interesting answer opportunities, and one of them could be a very subtle buying signal. Okay, so if I would make a poll, for example, where does your team struggle with LinkedIn lead generation? And then they say time, for example, or they say, for example, identifying clients. Or the last answer I put like having a consistent approach, okay, to put it in their daily routine.
Yeah.
Everyone who clicks on the last opportunity, like having a routine, I can reach out and say, hey, that's interesting, because I can share with you a routine that we have shared with all our clients. And there you have your conversation started. So in terms of reach, but also in terms of conversation, polls are like a really, really strong format that you can use.
I remember it I think also that around 2020, when I did a poll, I would have a templated DM per every poll answer you could do, and then I would just send to
Ah,
everybody who polled a specific thing. I was my own robot, just sending a templated text, but it really sparked engagement.
yeah, and if you ask a question to your target audience, everyone who takes the 3 seconds or 5 seconds to respond, no matter what answer they choose, but everyone, you can follow up if you want and send them an connection request and say, hey, Stefan, thank you for taking the time to vote on my poll today. Appreciate it. Let's connect. I also want to see your content. And people accept because they go like, wow, the author just reached out to me, thanking me for my time. So people convert to that. So again, it's a very, very good strategy.
Yeah. If we change chapters or gears a little bit, I would like to ask you a little bit about what are the metrics that, and maybe a twofold question. So what are the metrics typically that the clients ask you that they, or suggest that they measure based out of their work with LinkedIn? And are they measuring the right things with the work with LinkedIn? So overall metrics, how do you see that for companies that want to take LinkedIn serious?
Well, that's very easy because I think a lot of people, and especially a lot of company pages, are still looking for the wrong things. I still get requests from marketeers saying, "Can we do a strategic consultancy because we need to be on 50,000 followers and we are struggling?" And why do you need to be on 50,000 followers? Yeah, because we get more reach. No, it's not true. You only get 1.5%. So 50,000 followers, we do a lot of work to get like 750 more reach. No, we should aim for loyal followers from the target audience. So what I would say in general, people are going for vanity metrics like followers. Reach is still a vanity metric. I know it's also an indicator that it resonates with your audience, but in the end, likes, reach will not pay the bills. So we always go to KPIs like incoming invites from your target audience, incoming direct messages requesting your service, a meeting, or whatsoever, or incoming emails, phone calls that refer to LinkedIn. Now, the last one is tricky because sometimes people call you and they will not mention that they saw your post and they like your post. They will just go like, okay, I saw your name, I see what you're doing, and I want to have a meeting. Yeah. But all the KPIs for marketing, for example, or for another conversion, how many signups do we get from a LinkedIn post for a webinar? How many downloads do we get on our website from our brochure or document or white paper coming from LinkedIn? Those are actually like metrics that measure conversion rather than exposure. And I'm not telling that getting 200,000 views for your white paper is not good, but if nobody downloads it, there's still no conversion. So I think that's in general, that happens still a lot.
I think there's two practical places that people often also forget that they can actually increase the measurement part. One is if they take their company profile and then they have like this learn more link. If you don't add UTMs to that learn more link, you'll never know that a lot of people do take that path from studying Richard post to your company's LinkedIn post and then go to your website. So
exactly,
make sure your company page has UTMs set up. And actually nowadays you can also add a link to your own profile. Yeah. And then that link that in my case leads to our website, that also has a UTM pointing to LinkedIn and organic, and then me as the source of the visit to the website. So there are a few very practical handles you can do to increase the visibility of this impact.
Yeah, and imagine the impact those links, those UTM links have. If you have an advocacy program where you tell people how to optimize their profile, and hey, you have a link on top of your profile, please put a link to our library of white papers, or please put a link to sign up for an upcoming webinar. We have actually a lot of clients that see now that advocacy on LinkedIn is very powerful if they are actively facilitating their employees with those kind of links and to put out more links to the same event or to the same website. So yeah, it's you can really scale your conversion coming from LinkedIn there.
Yeah, and I think it's just good to do because I'm without a doubt that this is very valuable. But it's still, you still only see it like the tip of the iceberg, the value that you create for yourself. That like there's some visibility, and if you can just raise that iceberg a little bit above the water, then that really helps you in your company. Richard, if we try to afterwards, I'm gonna post. I asked ChatGPT to help me join Pearl Jam songs together with questions for Richard. So I'll post them in the comments afterwards and leave them out of here now. But Richard, what if we are to kind of simplify the world a little bit for those who are listening and do use LinkedIn or want to use LinkedIn? What are the most important things to do, and what are the most important things not to do?
Okay, to do 4 steps. It's very easy. This is a proven strategy. So for those who are asking where are the proven strategies, this is a proven strategy. First, optimize your profile with your target audience in mind. It's not about you, it's about them. So they need to recognize, hey, this guy knows my problems, knows my challenges. He has worked with companies in the industry. Okay, so the best thing to optimize your profile actually is to interview your most valuable clients, because they can tell you, why did we choose Richard? What is it that he helped us with? What are the results of working with him? And those elements you can put in your banner, you can put in your about section, you can put in your featured section, quotes, little best practices, because that will really resonate with your audience. So that's the first one. Second, we already discussed that, a content strategy. Okay, so you need to have a diverse content strategy. Consistency is more important than frequency. So you don't need to publish 5 times a week. You can publish like twice a week, but maintain that consistency. Don't go away from LinkedIn for 3 or 4 weeks, because LinkedIn will give you a hard time after you come back in the 4th week and getting the same reach again. So be consistent. Third step, we also discussed more or less engagement strategy. Okay, so 5 years ago, if you would publish on a daily basis, that might have done the job. Now, no, because there's so many more people publishing, so many more content available, that you need to also engage, reach out, comment on clients, potential clients, peers, position yourself in their networks as well. And then the fourth one, and that's maybe even the most important one, you need to have a conversion strategy. Yeah. Because people don't convert themselves. They don't do it in a fast way. I've very rarely seen that I create a post and somebody who didn't know of me till now will like the post, will follow me, will send me a connection request, and the moment I accept, will send me a message and say, hey, Richard, I just found out about you today. When can we have a meeting? Because I have 100 salespeople to train. It's not happening. People will take one step at a time. I'm going to start to like the post. Next week, I'm going to follow Richard. Maybe in a few months, I'm going to connect with him. But if we help them, so if we have a strategy to see those buying signals and to reach out to them and say, hey, Stefan, I just saw you visited my profile. Was it something I said, something I published, something you viewed, something you're looking for? Let me know, but let's connect. Or, hey, Stefan, I just saw your insightful comment on my post. Thank you for that. Let's connect. So all these steps to reach out based on their engagement is what I call a conversion strategy. Getting from your feed to the DMs is a proactive conversion strategy. Okay, if your clients are not DMing you, why would you not reach out to them in a supportive way, not selling anything, but just saying, hey, I saw you check my profile, or hey, I see you regularly like my content. Okay, where do you stand when it comes to LinkedIn and marketing, LinkedIn and brand awareness? What are your challenges? Something like that can spark a conversation. So I see a lot of people, they think, optimize profile, check. I'm putting out content, check. I having my AI robot doing the comments, check. Okay, where are the leads? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you need to have a proactive conversion strategy as well.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's probably where I need to step it up a little bit. Nobody's perfect. Richard, speaking of conversion strategy, what should people do if they want to hear more to you or work more with you and your company?
So I'm on LinkedIn, obviously. The company name is Just Connecting. So we have the website justconnecting.com. It's also on my profile. So what we mainly do, we work in marketing departments, sales departments, and we help marketing to increase brand awareness, to create thought leadership, employee advocacy, and we help sales basically also to generate leads and convert via LinkedIn. That's what we do. Myself, I love to do keynote talks like I did. Laura was also there, the one in Denmark we did in May. So if you have an event and you want to book me as a speaker, you can find a link on my profile. And last but not least, I have a community. It's called The Tribe. It's communities where entrepreneurs, startups, marketing professionals meet. It's an annual subscription of €1,000. You get 25 masterclasses live a year, and a library of 80 hours of the past 2 years, all the masterclasses. And we had some like really amazing speakers, a lot of value. But the best thing is that the network is really strengthening, that people, the community members are really like looking for opportunities together, and we try to grow together. So those are basically the 3 ways how people can work with me if they want.
Super nice, Richard. I just want to end with saying that to people who are listening, if you liked this conversation with Richard, we have a full catalog of shows called Attributed. So if you go search for that in your podcast library, you'll find us. And I just want to say to those of you who joined us live, thank you so much for the very vibrant discussion. I think both me and Richard needs to go double check all the questions that came in. And that's basically it. Thanks for joining, Richard. It was a big pleasure to learn a bit from you, and everybody who's listening, thank you so much.